Okay, well, that's it. We're at 5.4 Complex Numbers Assignment Tutorial. Question number 1. Identify the real and imaginary parts of the given number, then tell which of the following sets the number belongs to: real numbers, imaginary numbers, and complex numbers. 8 plus 9i. The real part of 8 plus 9i is 8, and the imaginary part is 9. The number 8 plus 9i belongs to which of the following sets? The correct answer to that is complex numbers. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the next question. Okay, question 2. Identify the real and imaginary parts of the given number. Then tell which of the following sets the number belongs to: real numbers, imaginary numbers, and complex numbers. 4 minus 5i. The real part of 4 minus 5i is 4, and the imaginary part is negative 5. The number 4 minus 5i belongs to which of the following sets? The correct answer to that is complex numbers. Question 3. Identify the real and imaginary parts of the given number, then tell which of the following sets the number belongs to: real numbers, imaginary numbers, and complex numbers. 73. The real part of 73 is 73, and the imaginary part is 0 because 73 equals 73 plus 0i. The number 73 belongs to which of the following sets? The correct answer to that is real numbers and complex numbers. A little too bright there. All right. Question 4. Identify the real and imaginary parts of the given number. Then tell which of the following sets the number belongs to: real numbers, imaginary numbers, and complex numbers. I squared to 45. The real part of I squared to 45 is 0 because I squared to 45 is equal to 0 plus I square root of 45. And the imaginary part is square root of 45. The number I squared root of 45 belongs to which of the following sets? The correct answer to that is complex numbers and imaginary numbers. All right. Question 5 of 16. Add the complex numbers. So first off, you put a 1 in front of the parentheses. Okay. Now we need to distribute the 1. So 1 times 7 plus 5i plus, now we need to multiply by 1. That's plus 7 plus 13i. Now we need to group the 7s together. So 7 plus 7 and group the i's together. So plus 5i plus 13i. Okay. 7 plus 7 is 14. So this is 14 plus 5i plus 13i is 18i. Okay, let's look at the next question. All right, question 6 of 16. Add the complex numbers. So we're going to multiply by 1 from the parentheses. So 1 times 3 plus 2i is 3 plus 2i. And then 1 times that's plus 6 minus 5i. Okay, now we need to group the 3 plus 6 together and the 2i minus 5i together. Okay, well, 3 plus 6 is 9. And then 2i minus 5i is minus 3i. Okay, let's take a look at the next question. Question 7 of 16. Okay, add the complex numbers. So we're going to put a 1 in front of the parentheses. Okay, 1 times that is negative 5 minus 4i plus, now you're multiplying 1 times minus 13. So that's minus 13 plus 8i. Okay, now we're going to group the negative 5 and 13 together. So negative 5 minus 13, and then the minus 4i plus 8i. So that is negative 18 plus 4i. That's a terrible plus sign. Let me try to draw that again. Okay. All right. Question 8 of 16. Add the complex numbers, okay? So put a 1 here, 1 here. That's negative 8 minus 7i plus 6 plus 3i. Okay? We're going to group the negative 8 plus 6 together, and then the minus 7i and the plus 3i together. Okay? Well, negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2, and then negative 7i and 3 is minus 4i. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the next example, or question, sorry. All right, moving on to subtraction. Subtract the polynomials. So put a 1 from the parentheses. Now, when you multiply by 1, that's 3 plus 4i. Now we have to distribute by negative 1, so that's minus 6 minus 9i. Okay, now we're going to group the 3 minus 6 together and the plus 4i minus 9i together. Okay, 3 minus 6 is negative 3. 4i minus 9i is minus 5i. All right. Question 10 of 16. Subtract the complex number. So put a 1 here, put a 1 here. That's 2 plus 6i minus 11. When you subtract a negative, or multiply negative times negative, that's plus 1i. Okay? Let's go ahead and group the 2 minus 11 together and plus 6i plus 1i. Well, 2 minus 11 is minus 9 plus 7i. Okay? Let's take a look at the next question. All right. Question 11 of 16. Subtract the complex number. Okay? So put a 1 here, 1 here. That's negative 7 minus 2i. And then when you distribute a negative 1, that becomes plus 9 plus 5i. Okay? So now we have negative 7 plus 9 minus 2i plus 5i. Okay? So then that's 2 plus 3i. All right. Let's take a look at the next question. All right, question 12 of 16. Subtract the complex numbers. Okay, so put a 1 here, 1 here. That becomes 3 plus 5i. You distribute the negative, that's minus 3 plus 5i. Combine the 3 minus 3 and the plus 5i plus 5i. Okay, well, 3 minus 3 is 0 plus 10i. Now, in HRW, they might accept that answer, or they might just want 10i. I'm not quite sure. Okay, either one of those. They're both both mathematically correct. I just don't know which one's going to go in HRW. All right. Question 13. Multiply the complex numbers. All right. Now I'm going to first show you the box method. Then I'm going to show you the FOIL method, and then you can decide which method you prefer to answer this question. Okay. Now box method, 5 plus 4i, 3 plus 2i. Okay. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4i is 12i. 2i times 5 is 10i. 2 times 4 is 8. I times I is I squared. So now we have 15 plus 10i plus 12i plus 8i squared. Okay. So now we can combine the 10i and the 12i, so that's 15 plus 22i, plus we know from our notes that I squared is negative 1. So now we have 15 minus 8 plus 22i. Well, 15 minus 8 is 7, so 7 plus 22i. Okay, now that's the box method. Let's do the FOIL method. Okay, so first we're going to do 5 times 3, which is 15. And then we're going to do 5 times 2i, which is plus 10i. Then we're going to do 4i times 3, which is 12i. And then 4i times 2i is plus 8i squared. Well, that's 15 plus 22i plus 8i squared is negative 1. So then we have 15 minus 8 plus 22i. So then that's 7 plus 22i. Okay, go ahead and head over for question 13. All right, let's take a look at question 14 of 16. Now I'm going to first show you the FOIL method, and then I will show you the box method, and you can see which method you prefer to use to answer the question. Okay, so FOIL, so we do 5 times 5, which is 25. 5 times negative 7i is minus 35i. I times 5 is 5i. I times negative 7 is minus 7i squared. Okay, so now we have 25 minus 30i minus 7 times negative 1. So then that's 25 plus 7 minus 30i. So then that's 32 minus 30i. All right, now let's take a look at the box method. So that'd be 5 plus 1i, 5 minus 7i. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1i is 5i. Negative 7i times 5 is not negative 35i. Negative 7i times 1 is minus 7i squared. Okay, so then we have 25 minus 35i plus 5i minus 7i squared. Okay, so then that's 25 minus 30i minus 7 times negative 1. So then that's 25 plus 7 minus 30i. So then that's 32 minus 30i. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the next question. All right, question 15 of 16. So I'm going to start by showing the box method, and then I'll show you the FOIL method, and you can decide which method you like to use to answer the question. Okay, so we have negative 3 plus 11i, negative 5 minus 7i. Okay, negative 5 times 3 is 15. Negative 5 times 11 is negative 55i. Negative 7i times negative 3 is a positive 21i. Negative 7 times 11 is negative 77 I squared. Okay, so then that's 15 plus 21i minus 55i minus 77i squared. Well, we can combine these. So that's 15 minus 34i minus 77 times negative 1. And then that's 15 plus 77 minus 34i. Let's just put this in the calculator real quick. 15 plus 77 is 92. So then that's 92 minus 34i. All right, now let's use FOIL. Okay, so then that's negative 3 plus 11i times negative 5 minus 7i. Okay, so then that's negative 3 times negative 5, which is positive 15. Negative 3 times negative 7 is plus 21i. Negative 11 times 5 is negative 55i. And then 11 times negative 7i is negative 77i squared. Okay, we can combine these. So we get 15 minus 34i minus 77 times negative 1. Okay, so then that's 15 plus 77 minus 34i, and then that's 92 minus 34i. Let's take a look at the last question. All right, again, I'm going to do FOIL method first, and then I'll do box method, and then you can decide which method you prefer to use to answer the question. Apologize, let me wipe that out and rewrite that. Box method. All right, so let's do FOIL method first. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times I is plus, that's a 1i, that's a negative I, so plus 5i. Negative 1i times 5 is minus 5i. And then negative 1 times 1i is negative 1i squared. Well, 5i minus 5i cancels, so you're left with 25 minus 1 times negative 1, which that's 25 plus 1, which equals 26. Okay, now let's use box method. Okay, so 5 minus 1i, 5 plus 1i. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5i. 1i times 5 is 5i. 1i times negative 1 is negative 1i squared. So then we have 25 plus 5i minus 5i minus 1i squared. Those cancels, you're left with 25 minus 1 times negative 1, which is 25 plus 1, which equals 26. All right, go ahead and complete your 5.4 assignment and have a wonderful walk at day.